Hello, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Next Generation Firewall, Made Simple for MSPs. I'm Sarah Duffy, the Marketing Manager here at Intronus, and I'm happy to be moderating today's session. Today, I am joined by Mark Ballier, a Systems Engineer here at Intronus. Today, we would discuss how to block threats, have visibility into your SMB customer networks, and reduce costs with our Next Generation Firewall. Before we get started, let's do some brief housekeeping. During the webinar, if you have any questions, feel free to share them using the questions or chat panel to the right of the GoToWebinar screen. At the conclusion of the webinar, you will be prompted to complete a brief survey. Please take a moment to tell us what you think as we continuously improve the content and quality of our online events. Now, without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to today's presenter. Take it away, Mark.
Thank you, Sarah, and thanks again to everyone who's joined today's webinar. Here's a quick look at our agenda. We're going to talk a little bit about Intronus as a company and have a peek at the new services that have become available. Today we'll be focusing on a brief high-level overview of our next generation firewall. We'll have time for questions, so please do enter them into the control panel as we're moving through the discussion. For those of you who aren't familiar, Intronus is a channel-only provider of data protection, local and cloud-based backup, and security solutions. We serve over 3,000 MSP partners. Intronus enables MSPs to centrally deploy and manage a broad portfolio of services, protecting business-critical files, folders, email, applications, and servers locally and in the cloud through a rebrandable console that integrates with major RMM and PSA tools. MSPs like you benefit from our fixed pricing plans and partner enablement tools that help accelerate the growth and profits of your business. With all of those things put together, it brings you to our vision, total advantage to MSPs. We're talking about total protection. We are the first and only MSP vendor to provide security as well as backup so we can prevent bad things happening in the first place, as well as help you recover after the fact. We have total ecosystem integration. We know you like to use tools like RMMs and PSAs, and we want our integrations into these systems to be as seamless for you as possible in your day-to-day operations. Total management. MSPs tell us all the time that they want to manage everything from a single pane of glass. That's our goal too, as we aim to deliver a myriad functionality through our Echo platform. And total pricing control. Our subscription plans are designed to fit your business model, offering predictable monthly cost with the flexibility for you to grow your margins. And finally, total partnership. Wrapped around everything we provide are our award-winning partner success resources and services, from technical support through sales and marketing resources, all the way up to our full service offering where we do everything for you. So how do we accomplish total advantage? Through our various products. The Echo platform, our software-only rebrandable data protection suite designed purely for MSPs to address the needs of SMBs. The backup physical and virtual appliance, a scalable data protection that works in Windows, Mac, and Linux environments in a turnkey, all-in-one subscription-based solutions. Essentials, you can reinforce your hosted email offering with email security, backup, and archiving. And lastly, today we are going to focus on the bottom right-hand side with our next generation firewall. So now we'll talk a little bit about the evolution of the firewall. In the very beginning, a firewall was a basic ones and zeros device that the IP would be granted access or not. And it might do a little bit of antivirus scanning, but it's very basic and can pretty much be accomplished by a router today. Now the evolution of firewalls came into play and widened the scope by taking the port into account where traffic tried to access the network. And then with the rise of the next generation firewall, the traffic causing applications were taken into account as well. So we've gone from moving simply from an IP address to now identifying a port to now being able to identify traffic. Today, we've also entered the cloud era of next generation firewalls. This adds WAN optimization capabilities, management and scalability, a wide variety of remote access options so you can check data quickly and easily, and most importantly, securely via a mobile device. Not to forget about reporting features and integrated link balancing and traffic intelligence, but more on these features, or at least a couple of them in a couple minutes. All of this will be available even at your smallest SMB customer site without the need to backhaul traffic. We need a cloud-ready next-generation firewall to ensure availability of business-critical data at any time and from anywhere. So today we'll be focusing on our next-generation firewall offering, as I mentioned. The base for the next-generation firewall was laid by the FION NetFence that was launched in 2001. So for now 15 years, the focus on dealing with the requirements of distributed networks, scalability, manageability, and versatility in out-of-the-box features. Requirements back then are still valid now in terms of manageability and scalability, and they are even more pressing. Our MSP firewall is designed and built from the ground up to provide comprehensive next-generation firewall capabilities, cloud-hosted content filtering and reporting, offload compute for intensive tasks to the cloud for greater resource efficiency and throughput. Based on application visibility, user identity awareness, intrusion prevention, and centralized management, this firewall is the ideal option for many of your customers. Our firewall is a turnkey solution that provides protection to secure multiple customer networks from advanced threats, all from one centralized management console, and is a subscription-based appliance that has no upfront fees. Our firewall is designed for MSPs with multiple customers and location, where each firewall can be controlled through a single centralized management console that makes it easier to deploy common security policies across multiple units. The firewall is available in 3 different deployment options for MSPs, including a physical firewall, virtual firewall, and a public cloud firewall version, all subscription-based and with no upfront fees. So now we can talk about some of the key benefits of the next generation firewalls. And let's focus on the following 4. We want to intelligently regulate network traffic, provide full user awareness, prevent hackers from infiltrating the network, and deploy based on your requirements. To start, we want to improve network quality. And this is done by regulating network traffic, being able to optimize the bandwidth, ensure high availability and failover, and preserve bandwidth speeds for business critical applications. For instance, you can restrict connectivity for certain apps, sub-apps limited to a user group. Your HR department should be able to take care of your public Facebook profile, but not be allowed to play Facebook games during work hours. Yes, you've heard right. Barracuda Next Generation Firewalls lets you also define timeframes where apps are okay to be used. So how does it all work? Traditionally, the method you have to do is have one of your firewalls at your location and then multiple client locations. Within the control center, not only do you have the ability to provision rules, application controls, all the VPN tunneling, and all the routing required within that network, you also have the ability to give your customers control of what we call revision control. So we have built-in revision control in our firewalls. So you can make a rule change in one of the firewalls. For example, say you have rule number 4 that was completed last night, and all it did was allow one set of subnets to go to another certain set of subnets on the internet. But what if something went wrong? You can go straight to your control center and look for the point of date and time that you made the change and roll it back. So we'll call it change 43, and then you can revert it back. You can also erase the rule and go back and change the rule altogether. So it's very simple for your administrators to know when rules are changed, when rules are made, and what you have to do to add rules to an individual user's network that may only last for a certain length of time. And all the logging information is reported back to management as well. So the flexibility from the managed service provider is really large. You get complete control over the next-gen firewall and all the client location, meaning it's transparent from them. Any changes that are made are done straight on your own, and your customers have peace of mind about it. Lastly, you have locations that are deploying virtual servers. You can provide the firewall as a virtual appliance. Again, all managed from one management console. We can now talk about increased visibility. Some of the benefits are massive drill down capabilities in the next generation firewall. We can use a report creator, which is an additional Windows executable that can be downloaded for free at barracuda.com in order to make report creation as convenient as possible. Use the load of predefined reports to make and create your own report template and automated delivery settings. You can predefine the day and time for creating a report and much more. You can also create schedules for automated report creation and distribution via email. And on top of that, the created reports are very simple and easy to read for your customers. And of course, these reports can be customized to add your own branding. So that fake logo that you see on top is just something that we put in as a placeholder. That can be your logo. Now we can talk about the ease of management. Managing a set of firewalls for your SMB customers is really simple. When the next generation firewall was designed, it was designed in tandem with the management at the core. Our management control center has the ability to manage thousands and thousands of firewalls across the board. So you can roll out firewalls to all of your customers from a single pane of glass. Firewall rule sets and other security policies, software patches, and version upgrades are centrally controlled from within the management console. Deployment can be scheduled and applied to all or some of your managed devices at the same time. Highly customizable administration roles allow delegation of administrative capabilities for specific departments and locations as well. Administrators are kept informed at all times of the status of the remote gateways and can implement centrally defined security rules at every location. Furthermore, the integrated revision control system provides easy audits and cuts overhead. We also need to talk about protecting the perimeter. Your customers want to know what's going on in their network and when, so you might want to check the SSL encryption connections too. You might want to define what certain file types are controlled, are allowed, or are used at all. Have them check the advanced protection sandbox, have users requesting certain types of files put into quarantine automatically, and thereby avoid suffering zero-day exploits or ransomware. You can detect systems in your network and try to establish connections to botnet, command and control centers, and block them from doing so before such backdoors in your network are established. From a security perspective, your customers can improve their security protection by integrating previously disparate security functions such as web filtering, malware protection, email security, intrusion prevention, application control, and advanced threat protection into a single platform. The built-in intrusion detection and prevention system strongly enhances network security by providing complete and comprehensive real-time network protection against a broad range of network threats, vulnerabilities, exploits, and exposures in operating system, applications, and databases. This can prevent such attacks as SQL injections, access control attempts and privilege escalations, cross-site scripting and buffer overflows, DDoS attacks, directory traversal and scanning attempts, backdoor attacks, trojans, viruses, worms, and spyware. The malware protection covers viruses, trojans, worms, malicious Java applets, and programs using known exploits on PDFs, pictures, and Office documents, as well as macro viruses, and many more. Our malware protection is based on regular signature updates as well as advanced heuristics to detect malware or other potentially unwanted programs even before signatures are available. Our advanced threat protection uses next-generation sandbox technology to catch not only persistent threats and day zero exploits, but also advanced malware designed to evade detection. Files are forwarded to a cloud-based sandbox environment where they are executed and analyzed to identify suspicious and malicious behavior. The administrator has full policy control over how PDF documents, Office files, executables, Android files, compressed files, and archives are emulated and delivered to the client. Based on identified malware activity, infected users can be automatically quarantined, preventing the malware from spreading within the network. The web filtering options of the firewall enable highly granular real-time visibility into online activity broken down by individual users and applications, letting administrators create and enforce effective internet content and access policies. It protects your customers' productivity, blocks malware downloads and other web-based threats, and enables compliance by blocking access to unwanted websites and servers, providing an important additional layer of security alongside application control. So now let's talk a little bit more about advanced threat protection. It implements a full system emulation, providing deep visibility into the malware behavior. Files are checked against a cryptographic hash database that is constantly updated. In case the file is unknown, it is emulated in a virtual sandbox where malicious behavior can be discovered. The advanced threat protection offers you granular file type-based control, including automatic quarantine and blacklisting features to maintain the highest level of protection for your SMB networks. You can prevent malicious files, even unknown ones, from entering the organization and avoid network breaches, identify zero-day malware exploits, targeted attacks, advanced persistent threats, and other advanced malware which routinely bypass traditional signature-based IPS and antivirus engines. You have granular control over PDFs, executables, Android, Office applications, and other compressed files and archives. Full interoperability with the integrated SSL inspection. Files can be extracted and checked in order to detect advanced malware, even in the encrypted stream. Cloud-based emulation allows resource-intensive file emulation to be offloaded to the Barracuda cloud. Learning local cryptographic hash database for emulation optimization, multiple and simultaneous operating system environments for emulated files, automatic email notifications in case of malware activity is identified can help minimize the time for reaction of the administrator in order to mitigate the network breach. Available for hardware and virtual appliances as well as for Microsoft Azure and the Amazon AWS cloud to fit whatever your IT strategy may be and standardize across hypervisors for network security and securely leverage public cloud infrastructure. The web filtering option of our firewall enables highly granular real-time visibility into online activity broken down by individual users and applications, letting administrators create and enforce effective internet content and access policies. It protects user productivity, blocks malware downloads and other web-based threats, and enables compliance by blocking access to unwanted websites and servers, providing an important additional layer of security alongside application control. So you as the managed service provider has complete control over what's going on. You can give these valuable reports back to the customers to tell them what's been going on. You can tell what's using most of their bandwidth. So if you found a certain location, Facebook is using 60% of their network, you've got a great reporting tool to go to them and say, hey, most of your bandwidth is being used by Facebook. And you may want to do this to allow or add another rule that says Facebook receives a lower priority, so you can lower the bandwidth to a certain percentage. And that is the same for all of your customers. Not only that, if people are having problems right now, you can use the management control center to connect to these boxes and see exactly what's going on right now in real time with that firewall. If they are saying they're having problems, you can instantly look at the live traffic and see that it's actually someone looking at Facebook and playing games or whatever that might be hogging most of your connection, and we can just give that a lower priority. As I mentioned before, there are flexible deployment options just to make sure that you can standardize on whatever fits your network and IT strategy. So our firewalls are offered as a physical appliance, a virtual appliance, or a cloud service in the public cloud. We'll talk about our VPN capabilities. You can complete a site-to-site VPN tunnel with an easy drag-and-drop user interface in a matter of seconds. You simply highlight the services and drag them to the tunnel panel. The firewall also incorporates advanced site-to-site and client-to-site VPN capabilities using both SSL and IPsec protocols to ensure remote users can easily and securely access network resources without complex client configuration and management. Every firewall unit supports an unlimited number of VPN clients, all at no extra cost. It simply comes down to the appropriate size of the firewall and how many users you're going to have going through it. We have a full-fledged client, usually used for Windows PCs, MacBooks, things of that nature. It also is compatible with Linux. We have the capability for SSL VPN, which is operating system independent and just needs a browser with Java support. And we also have a very light client called CUDA Launch for iOS and Android. As you can see, we have many configurations that you can select depending on your needs, scaling from our smallest model, the F18, with 1 gig per second throughput, all the way up to our largest model, the F1000, at 40 gig per second throughput. The Barracuda NextGen Control Center gives full control over system administration costs. From lifecycle costs, central update management drastically lowers the time spent deploying patches. Our firewall, with different software versions, can be centrally managed at the same time. Deployment cost. Using the Management Control Center, rollouts with hundreds of devices can be completed within a few weeks instead of months. And operating costs. The Management Control Console helps to significantly reduce the cost associated with security management while providing extra functionality both centrally and locally at the managed gateways. Intronis focuses our product solutions, tools, and services towards maximizing value for the MSP market. As a partner, you'll get access to exclusive Partner Toolkit, which is packaged with resources. It has a searchable knowledge base for fast troubleshooting and resolution. Intronis University, our self-service certification training curriculum, our library of sales and marketing enablement materials where you can find rebrandable data sheets and collateral. And because we're constantly enhancing the platform, the Partner Toolkit gets refreshed constantly. So thank you for everyone for joining today. And I hope you appreciated the talk about our next generation firewall. I'm going to pass things back over to Sarah to begin the question and answer portion of the session. Thank you.